Hello again, Guardians. So last time we talked about the possible mechanic changes coming to heroic mode, but now the question is, what could you do to prepare? If you don't care about the theatrical of running a raid blind, then I suggest watching a popular streamer when the raid is released, or looking up tutorial videos later on that day. Personally, I love the experience of figuring out the new mechanics with my fire team. So let's discuss how to prepare for heroic mode as if we're playing when it drops. First things first, start asking your friends if they can raid when it drops, and start planning out your fire team. Next, if you haven't already reached 385, then it's time for you to start grinding out there, Guardian. Don't be discouraged, since you have a couple days left to squeak out normal mode raids or even Trials of Osiris until heroic mode is released. And guess what, guys? Xur is selling exotic arm engrams. That's right, he's not selling regular legacy arm engrams, but exotic arms that could turn into year 3 items. So if you aren't already 385, now you have options. But hurry, guys, because heroic mode is just around the corner. But God Darkside, I'm already 385. What more is there for me to do? Well, there's nothing wrong with trying to get to 386 or possibly 387. It only helps you for the better. So besides from planning your fire team and grinding your light level, it's time to start thinking, alright, what weapons and armors am I going to bring to help me out for hard mode? Weapons, guys, weapons. Let's talk about weapons. This section is a little up in the air because the best part of the raid is that you can use almost any weapon you want. Anything that's comfortable for you. No longer are you restricted like King's Fall, where it's scouts, snipers, and machine guns only. Want to use a shotgun? Then use a shotgun. You love swords? Start swinging, Guardians. Just think about what weapons you personally love to use and start getting their light levels up. But if you do want to know efficiency, then let's talk about efficiency. But if you haven't watched any videos comparing damage, then you better start watching Dado's DPS videos comparing all the most commonly used weapons such as Sleepers versus Gjallarhorn, which sword does the best DPS option, even Dogma versus Outbreak Prime. Personally, I suggest using a certain combo of weapons. For primaries, I suggest you either using scout rifles, hand cannons, and maybe even pulse rifles. You know, they have a higher chance of 1 to 2 shotting ads, and they have pretty good range. For secondaries, you can run with a shotgun or a sniper, but you need to make sure your heavy counterpart works with it. For example, if you want to use a sleeper simulant, then bring a shotgun to help you kill captains. If you have a good sniper, then bring a sword or a Gjallarhorn just to help you melt the captains faster. Just make sure you have a good combo to help you clear ads and effectively take out the captains. So let's talk about armor. If you are a Titan, you should be rocking either the Glass House helmet or the insurmountable Skullfort helmet. Obviously, it's going to depend on which subclass you're using. If you're a Bubble Titan, then use the Glass House helmet to extend the effective duration of weapons or Blessing of Light. If you already have a Bubble Titan, then feel free to use the insurmountable Skullfort helmet as a Sunbreaker Titan. This will give you 2 charges of Melting Point, which is essentially like a Tether or Weapons of Light, and they also stack with them. If you need tips on effectively using Melting Point, then check out ST Slayer's video on his world record run. If you watch closely, you see how he's able to use Melting Point and use Scorch Cannons simultaneously. As a Warlock, you should be either using the Starfire Protocols or Transversive Steps. Starfire Protocols will give you an additional Fusion Grenade, and a combination of Viking Funeral and Touch of Flame will allow your team to do extra DPS during the damage phases. Just make sure you have both Viking Funeral and Touch of Flame, as the debuff to enemies will only work if they're burning. If you're using Transversive Steps, then it's not about what subclass to use, it's all about positioning. These boots allow you to instantly put ammo back into the gun you're using. Say you're fighting Axis and it's his 3rd stun phase. You have sleeper shots. You want to stand next to heavy ammo bricks, so as you start firing shots, you can easily walk onto heavy brick ammos to keep shooting. You shoot 1 shot, you shoot 2 shots, you step on an ammo brick, you're going to have ammo put right back into the magazine. So if you haven't picked up these boots, it's an absolutely must buy. So go out there and grind for it, guys. For hunters, well, there isn't really exotic gear for you to wear to help you for the raid. And lastly, overall, you should try to wear your normal mode raid gear, for each piece is tailored to help you succeed in the raid. So time is ticking down, Guardians. You have 1 week left, maybe even less, to get as high light as you can and to start asking friends, will you join me for hard mode? So do the raid, do trials, do what you must to be ready. So Guardians, will you be ready when heroic mode drops? Will you meet me in the raid?